Hello, my name is Matthew Pastor, and my amendment is the 13th Amendment, which states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted and shall exist with the U.S. or any place subject to the jurisdiction. I'm arguing that the U.S. needs to change their prison policy and allow more rights to prisoners or a better service towards them. Now, oh, the national prison brutality now amongst fellow prisoners, well, amongst fellow prisoners and amongst guards, is very, very prominent, in which that guards and prisoners themselves abuse one another to, because of the stasis that they're in. Now, within prison, inmates are under a lot of stress due to confined places of residence and poor quality in food and guards abusing them on an almost daily basis. Things can be very tiresome or stressful. So many times, many times inmates experience various psychological symptoms and many problems within their stay in prison. So they may experience trauma, migraines, dizziness, sickness, mental stability is cracking. So under prison, under prisoners gain a lot of stresses and they're not able to cope with day-to-day life. And many times throughout the day, prisoners think of suicide or think of different ways that they can hurt their fellow cellmates or fellow prisoners within the same cell. And many times, prisoners and guards often get killed or hurt or worse because of the stresses that prison have on the average mentality. Because prison is in American's prison, it's meant to treat you as an animal instead of as a human being. Your rights are revoked, your rights are taken away, and you can do nothing but stay in your cell and and grovel like an animal, which they want you to believe you are. In the past, inmate populations have grown exponentially, but in recent years they're on a slight decrease by about by 33,000 this year, which is a very small percentage, because in over 1 million people were sentenced to prison in the year of 2015, and that doesn't include how many people are already still in prison from that point in time. And many times people overlook this factor and say that, and many of them are returning people. They are multiple repeat offenders and they go back into prisons without any change in who they are and any change of their main goals in life in order to help their community or any other aspect. I say that one way that we should implement America's social prison system is through looking at other countries as an example. Sweden is a prime example for their prison system. Sweden offers many opportunities for their prisoners and usually resort to prison as a last resort. Probation is a main idea that Sweden wants to uphold to the fellow people, citizens of Sweden. So many times they use probation as a first um, escort if they do something crime worthy, or they try to enable short sentences depending on the severity of the crime. And within those short sentences, they have multiple reform programs for different specified problems within people, within inmates, so they can attempt to solve the problem and restructure their mindset to a better ideal. Many times, Sweden governments try to offer freedom within the cell so that prisoners are offered clothes of their choosing, books to read, and programs such as art and design in order to help with everything that they're going through. So within the prison system, Sweden offers many opportunities for prisoners to feel at home, prisoners to feel like they belong in society, for them to regain mental stability and able to go back into the world and work towards something for their own community. In Swedish government, prisoners are offered a chance to restable their lives. But while in America's government, if you do something wrong or do something not worthy, they put you in solitary for months up to years without being able to have as much as social contact. which is another reason for inmates breaking in America because they lack social connections, lack social compact, so they become more irritable, become more enraged, become more prone to going back and doing the same crimes as they did before. As in with Sweden, they have 5 pillars of government and prison rules. These five pillars enlist purpose, approach, equality, society, and normality. Purpose is used in order to give prisoners a sense of purpose in their lives. They give them a hobby or something for them to do, something for them to remain active, or a goal in mind, so that way they can apply themselves towards that goal and reach that limit of success that they know they can reach. Approach is approaching their problems, approaching their issues, and being able to see that when they're at fault or see when there's an issue within themselves. There's also equality. They try to make prisoners feel like they're equal among themselves and the guards. The guards are are hired to show respect for fellow inmates. They're not if there is prejudice that a guard holds towards someone else, they're not able to hold a job in a prison in Sweden. You have to have respect and treat everyone equally in order for you to be an adequate guard and in order for you to show each inmate that they are someone, that they are worth time, that they are worth themselves in society. You have to make sure an inmate is able to go back into society, make sure that their minds are able to process things in normal ways. If someone's a killer, you have to make sure that they go back into society not feeling those same urges of killing or not feeling depressed that they even hurt someone else. And normality. You have to make sure that things go normally. You have to make sure that they feel normal themselves. If they go back into the world and they're still insane, that's not the proper way to handle inmates. You have to make sure that you mold them and that you show them that the world is for you, that you belong in the world, and that there's a place for you, and a positive place, not something negative like selling drugs or petty offenses. And you have to instill this into their minds. And if America is able to mold themselves under similar to Sweden's laws and make sure that the 13th Amendment, instead of being one of servitude and punishment, be one of caring and kindness and compassion towards their inmates and towards people. This way, when people go out of jail, they'll go back into society renewed and refreshed, able to start over again. Thank you for your time.